Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Devils in God's Country. I'm one of your hosts, Casper Rigsby. My normal co-host, Miss Allie Jackson, is not able to be here with us tonight, but I do have two returning special guests. Stephanie Brown, the wife of one of my good friends, and also a good friend herself, and her brother, Will, who has been on the show once before, are joining us tonight. Will has been drinking heavily. Thank you, Will. And Steph is being moderate tonight. She is not having any drinks, so we have one sober voice in the crowd. Tonight's episode is going to deal with the fear tactics used by religion, and also we're going to try to touch on the idea of fearing God and how the idea of God as this vengeful, wrathful being that you should fear has actually fucked up a lot of people's heads in making them misunderstand the difference between being afraid of someone and respecting them. So we'll get around to that a little bit later, but first I'm going to talk about the general fear tactics used by religion. And this includes the fear that is instilled in adherents to religions, especially like within Christianity, the major Abrahamic religions, somewhat with the exclusion of Judaism. There's not a lot of fear tactics in the same sense that we would think about it in Christianity and Islam when it comes to Judaism. Judaism has this sort of strange older idea of God, which is God is both the light and the darkness. He's the good guy and he's the bad guy. He doesn't have an adversary. And when you die, it's just shit for everybody, pretty much. You all go to Sheol, and it's just kind of fucked up. Um, so it tends to be kind of why most Jewish people are just like, whatever. Christians, on the other hand, and Muslims especially, a lot of fear tactics go into these religions, and a lot of fear is used within these religions to keep the adherents in line, to instill the idea of morality, and we'll get around to the idea of a fear-based morality system versus an ethical morality system based on rational, logical thought. But generally we have within Christianity and within Islam, we have the idea of hell, this idea of eternal punishment, a God that is very retributive and very vengeful, and who will throw your ass in a pit and fucking burn you up forever. And this idea is sort of used to keep the adherents in line and say, hey, if you don't do everything that's in this book, or you don't follow the doctrine, or you don't do what your pastor says, then you got to go to the bad fucking place where you're gonna just burn forever, or any number of horrible things. A lot of people were like, well, I don't really believe in hell, but like an eternity of absence without God is that's what hell is, and it's being absent of God. So without God, you can't know love and you can't know peace, and it's just terrible. And I'm like, dude, I don't know God now, and I'm pretty fucking happy, and I tend to be have a pretty good fucking time, man. So like the whole idea that not knowing God is gonna really fuck up my day doesn't really seem to play out for me. I mean, your God doesn't seem to have that much to offer to begin with, to make that sort of a ploy that would really draw me in. So, what do you guys think? Who wants to speak, man? Don't let me hog the mic.
You got any thoughts?
Well, I know there's a lot of scare tactics that's used against parents when raising children. Christians and Muslims use the whole morality and how are you going to teach your children morality when you don't know God. And they try to scare you into making sure your kids go to church, otherwise they're going to turn out to be horrible people when they grow up. And it drives me absolutely insane. I know a lot better people that are atheists than I do Christians We grew up in a Christian home, and 95% of our family are shitbags. Um, and their moral compass is supposed to be they're Almighty God, and they're little shitbags. They treat people horrible. They talk to people horrible. They talk about people horrible. Uh, How are we supposed to look at that as how we're supposed to raise our children when we're atheists? We rather treat everybody with kindness and love and make sure people, have clothes on their back and food in their mouths and in their bellies, and we want the best for people when these Christians are supposed to be doing those things, and all they do is sit back and go, I have all my stuff and you can go screw yourself.
I don't know.
Well,
What do you think, Will? Have I talked you out of agnosticism yet? Are you more sitting the fence towards atheism? Are you?
I know you've mentioned before, and you were like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna change your ways." And like for how it is for me, like I want to have that something I believe in. And, for people to say, what what a hell might be is to have no God, nothing, to believe in, no faith or anything. We live on this earth as a some people believe that reincarnation and things like that. I just
Pull your mic up closer to your mouth so I can hear you a little better.
for my thing is like for people to say that you the only God that you believe in is a Christian God, or or you believe in Allah, these things that means the same thing in the end. For me, as my situation, I believe that there is something. But for the situation that you were saying, that if hell is no God that you have, later in life, um, what's the point? And what's the faith that we're supposed to believe in something that we're going to be punished even if we do things, we live our life that we live on this earth to help others out, get by and things like that. Same thing as Steph said, that yeah, that help each other out, food each other's mouth, nourish each other's bodies. That what's supposed to happen anyway, and like pray to God that okay, but that magical creature's not gonna put food on the table. There, nobody's gonna pay the bills except you. There's not some Christian family next door saying, "Oh yeah, I'll help you." No, no, it's not. That's not how it is. People go to church and stuff. They can this out to this family. They're really hurt right now, and then you find out, next week that they're not at the church anymore. They're feeling death again. It just blows my mind. But it's really hard to fathom the fact that okay, this is what life is going to be like. You're not going to have a job. You die. Your health and everything. But for me, I believe that there is a God. I hope there is something else. So being agnostic is sometimes it helps you get you by, and then maybe else people feel. They wish there is something there. And I know each and every one of us they want to believe. So if there's absolutely nothing, then I want to know how the fuck I ended up here. That's what I'm asking. And if there is no good that we're here to be here, and we have the minds that we have to ask the question, and I guess I'm just glad that we have.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unplug the headphones because they seem to be giving us trouble here. And
Yeah, can't
yeah,
hear
the feedback will be okay. I don't think we're going to get a lot of feedback off of you. So yeah. Well, unplug the headphones so I can hear you good and
Damn
clearly.
it!
Yeah. It's okay, bro. I think I kind of got the gist of what you're saying, and I understand that there's this sort of you seem to be leaning more towards deism, which is that's I don't really have a problem with deism. It doesn't make any sense to me in the least. Just the entire idea of a god altogether, it lacks any real credibility. Um, but because I feel like when you say there's a God, there's something beyond this. You're attributing some level of intelligence to that. And when I look at the universe, like 99% of the shit in the universe is out here to kill us. Like everywhere you turn, like you're looking at potentially fucking dying. Like there's cancer. Your own body will fucking turn against you and try to murder you. Um, and so there doesn't seem to be a lot of intelligence behind any of this. And I wonder, what would be the point for any intelligent being to go, hey, let's do this? I mean, it's kind of like having an anthill, but like you're constantly like spraying water into the anthill and then like shaking the shit out of it and then fucking putting rat poison in there. It's just like, hey, let's see if you can make it through this shit because I'm a douchebag. Like, it seems really terrible. And that's sort of the whole idea here, though. That's sort of the fear tactic. We've got people like fucking Pat Robertson out here, and like, you know, because of the fags, we're all gonna fucking drown, and God's gonna kill us all. Like, the tsunamis hit fucking the Philippines because of gay people and gay marriage. Like, America's gonna fucking all just fall into the ocean and earthquakes and tidal waves because of gay people. And it's just like, dude, really? You're telling me there's a God that's created a whole fucking universe, and what he gives a shit about is where people are sticking their dicks. Like that's his big concern. He's like, holy fuck, I did all this for you people, and you're gonna stick your dick in a butthole of another dude? Like, really? That's what you're gonna do? Well, fuck you then. Here's an earthquake and a tsunami. We're gonna kill babies and innocent women and children. Mothers, fathers, Christians, Jews, Hindus, doesn't fucking matter. Everybody fucking dies because you like to stick dicks in booties. Like, there is no sense to that whatsoever. And so, like, I don't know, man. It's just the insanity of using such fear tactics to try and we got Christians running through fucking Target waving Bibles with their 12 fucking kids and just like, oh man, Satan's gonna rape your baby. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, how about
That's
the
what I
fact
was
that
about to say.
how about the fact that they have 12 kids? How many of those are legitimate? Like, you've got 12 kids, and you're married to that one person that have 12 kids. How the fuck are you still sticking with them? Because I know you're fucking cheating on them too. That's you fucking horny bastard. Come on now.
Dude,
And
we need gay people for population control to deal with the motherfuckers having 12 kids.
Right?
Having babies. Jesus
Oh my
fucking
gosh,
Christ.
there should be a cutoff.
the fact of how many hoops there was a girl I worked with, and she said she wanted kids so bad. She was one of those, like, couldn't have kids because whatever medical reason was going on, like whatever reason that was going on in her body, she couldn't have kids and everything. So she was like, okay, adoption. That was the next thing, And how many hoops you have to jump through to have another child, and not to make it a racist point or anything, but to have a white female or a white male child adopted is more difficult than getting some other ethnicity or anything like that. And that's what doesn't make sense to me when so and so Billy or Bobby over here is like, well, I can't take care of this kid, but I don't want to abort it, so I'm going to end up adopting it or giving it away for adoption. And how many people are out there can't have kids and would love to have that child? And how many times you have to jump through hoops just to have that, to be able to do that. And then there's other people that are, have 12 kids that are raised by fucking idiots.
Right.
I don't get it, but it hurts me because, people that are ultimately honest and truthful and still cannot, have a child of their own because of how the system works. But I guess nobody can just be trusted, right, when, majority of us are lying, evil people, right?
Yeah, I don't know, and to make matters worse, it's even worse for a gay or lesbian couple to try and adopt a child. It's 100,000 times worse. Um, but again, it comes back to the fear tactics. The whole reason that people are saying, oh well, we can't let gay people adopt a kid is because there's this horrible fear that somehow being raised by homosexuals is going to make you a homosexual. And it's like, hey, motherfucker, guess what? That shit's not contagious.
Right.
I've been around gay people for like a great deal of my life, and like I've never had the urge to fuck a dude. It isn't like not even come across like, oh man, these are a lot of really cool gay people. I really like hanging out with them. I think I'm gonna fuck a dude now. It has never even happened. Like it's never even crossed my fucking mind. I was like, these people are awesome. I still like pussy. Like it's not fucking contagious, and like
No.
it's weird to think, oh well, you think okay, and here's the thing, I think a lot of these people are like, well, if you raise your child in a Christian home with good Christian values, they're going to turn out to be a good Christian.
No.
I was raised in a Christian home. My grandfather's fucking minister. Like, it was church every fucking Sunday. All that good shit. Like, I know the Bible inside and out. I'm atheist as fuck. It's like, no,
Yeah.
it's not how it works. Like, sometimes the law of averages said somebody in that family of those 12 kids with that crazy bitch running through Target, at least one of those kids at some point is going to go, holy fuck, this bitch is crazy as shit. And as soon as I can get the fuck out of here, I'm out of here. Like, law of averages said at least one of those kids is gonna be a fucking atheist, and his mother is just gonna lose her
At
shit.
least. Yeah, oh yeah, at least one of those kids. Because the average now and the generations coming up, there are more and more atheists. Because there's so much information ready at hand. And a lot of kids are going, that doesn't make sense. And why? And they've got Google in their hand, in their phone, and they can look it up now. Not just believe any bullshit that's shoved down their throat. And we were the same way when we were kids. We were like, oh, well, you believe what you're told because that's what you're supposed to, until you become an adult and you realize, oh, crap, this is bullshit too.
See,
But now kids nowadays can look up whatever they want.
I was in trouble from the start because even at like 5 years old, like I heard some Bible stories and I was like, that sounds like absolute bullshit. Like, I was just like, no, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with it. I don't really have much of a choice here, and at that young age, yeah, hell was a real fucking fear. It was
Yeah.
like, well, maybe some of this is bullshit, but the whole Jesus thing and God and hell and heaven, like that's got to be real. So like, I better just go with the flow here, or else I'm gonna fucking burn forever, and that's gonna suck balls. And now, like, my question, like, I had a Jehovah's Witness show up at the house the other day, and I was as polite as I could be. She started trying to hand me a watchtower, and she was trying to read a little passage out of it. And she was like, "Do you think this is referring to heaven?" And I just looked at her. I was like, "Honey, I'm an ardent atheist, and I don't believe in any of that nonsense. But thank you for your time. You can go about your day." And what I wanted to look at her and say was, you know what? Here's a question: how are you gonna enjoy heaven when you know that fucking plenty of your friends and family didn't make it and they're burning in hell? Like, how enjoyable is heaven gonna be for you? You know, I just to hear her answer, because I'm not sure what the Mormons believe on that. I know in the Church of Christ, you know, under what my grandfather always taught and stuff is, when you go to heaven, like your mind is wiped clean, and it's just a clean slate. And so like my whole point there was like, well, what the fuck is the point of this? Like, I'm making all
Mhm.
these friends, I got all these family, I'm having kids, a family, all this other bullshit. Like, what the fuck is the point of this if I die and then boom, my memory is gone and clean slate, but I'm in heaven worshiping God forever? Like, that sounds fucking horrible. That sounds like a horrible fucking idea.
Yeah.
And again, you know, it's the it all came back to the fear tactics of, you know, if you don't, you know, that was always comparably better than eternal torture. Those were the
Mhm.
options. Like you can go live in heaven forever, and like you'll be fully restored and you'll live forever, but you gotta fucking get on your knees and suck Jesus' dick for eternity. Or you can go burn in hell for eternity. And I'm like, that's not exactly the best of options. Like, it's kind of fucking shitty on both sides of the fence. It
I,
doesn't sound great.
I gotta chime in on this before I forget it or something. We were, I said something fucking shitty. I don't know what it was, and you know we say these like ridiculous comments every once in a while. Whatever it is, you know, something that's probably considered rude or mean or whatever it is. And we were in the car, and I was like, I'm going to hell, whatever. You know, and how many times people say that and everything, and I would mention, like, if there was one, you know, and I step back and I think about it, I'm like, you're right. And there's no other argument. Yeah, okay. But most people, especially a friend that I have, like, she goes, I'm going to hell anyway, whatever. So it's like, it comes down to that, like, people have kind of thought at the end of it, like, going to hell, well, it's, people aren't afraid of hell anymore. They don't believe that it's this evil thing anymore. This great heaven that is spoke of, like, is not, that amazing thing that everybody wants. But people live their life like they want to treat others that they think they should be treated. Not this bullshit fucking story about, oh, if you do, good to others, you're gonna go to heaven for life. If I go to heaven and I have a fucking clean plate and I don't fucking remember anything, fuck that shit. That's absolute bullshit. But if going to hell and I can remember everything, if that's the case, and bad memory, good memory, whatever, I would enjoy it. If there is a hell, I think that's better. That may sound crazy to some people, but why the fuck would you just give up everything in your past? We don't accept the fact that, we're gonna forget. We learn from that. If we forget that we don't give up that, get all that time, you're an atheist, you changed your ways by the time you died because you thought, oh, this is fucking it. No, people aren't gonna just change their ways right at the end. No, they're not gonna pray to something like all the movies and say, oh, you better pray right before, that shit's gonna happen. It's, I call bullshit. You can't just, say, oh, I'm sorry, bro. I fucked up. It doesn't work that way.
You know, you bring up the idea of people are just like, I'm going to hell for doing this, that, and the other. And I love what Sam Kinison said. He said, why miss heaven by 2 inches? If you're gonna fucking miss it, miss that fucking shit by a mile. like drink, smoke, fuck every piece of ass you can get a hold of. Like when he lost his fucking faith, he fucking lost it. He was just like, you know what? Yeah, fuck. If there's a hell, I'm fucking going, and I'm not going in a handbasket. I'm going on the fucking express train. God damn it!
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I'm drinking,
fuck
smoking,
wave.
fucking. You know, and I get that. I totally get that idea because like when you take the fear of that out of the equation, you know, when you take the fear of hell out of the equation, it's just like it's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous that I would sit here and fucking pander and think that, oh, I can do all this fucked up shit, but if I just ask for forgiveness, like it'll all be okay. No, no, fuck that, man. They, I love when theists ask me, they're like, oh well, you don't have any sort of objective morality, so like how can you decide what's right or wrong? Like I use rational logical thought. Like you know I don't rape people because I don't want to fucking get raped, and I assume that nobody wants to get raped. Like I can pretty much guarantee you that 99% of the population is like, hey man, would you like to get raped? And they're like, fuck no man, that doesn't sound cool at all. And so, like, hey, you don't do that because, like, you don't want that to happen to you, and nobody else wants that happening to them. So it's just like, pretty rational, logical thought. I don't rape people because I don't want to get raped, and nobody else wants to get raped. I don't murder people because I'm not like sitting around going, hey man, it'd be awesome if somebody came in my home and slit my fucking throat while I was asleep. That'd be cool. Yeah, it's never crossed my fucking mind. So of course I don't fucking run around murdering people because like it's not something I want to happen to me. I don't want that to happen to me and my family. I can assume that fucking the mass majority of the population doesn't want that to happen to them. And so that's a pretty objective standard. Like I can pretty much say every human on this planet, or at least the vast majority of them, doesn't want to be murdered. So I shouldn't fucking do that. You know, the vast majority of people on this planet don't want their shit stolen from them, so I shouldn't steal their shit. I don't want my shit stolen, so I shouldn't steal shit. It's fucking logic, and that's how we got to the idea of saying, hey, we should make laws and tell people straight up that you can't do that because like it just makes sense to say, hey, you can't steal somebody else's shit because they don't want you to steal their shit, and you don't want people to steal your shit. So let's just all agree that we're not going to do that. And so we make laws, and they're objective as fuck. It's very very objective because it deals with everybody. It's not just about what you want. It's not just about what the other guy wants. It's about what everybody wants, and that's what real objectivity is. So when we deal with the idea of objective morality from a theistic standpoint, we get this idea that God is the ultimate decider, because God isn't even human. So God has a truly objective perspective. And then we look at the Bible and we look at the Quran and we say, okay, well, so is murder wrong? Yeah, yeah, it's wrong to murder people. So why the fuck does God tell people to murder each other all the fucking way through this goddamn book, like over and over again, like actually committing genocide and wiping out entire fucking races of people? Why does God say to do that? Well, see, you gotta understand, those people were bad people. And so when God says to kill bad people, that's okay because it's objective, because it comes from God. And those people were just going to ruin everybody. So, we had to just take them all out. So, like the women and children and everybody, well, God knows better than us. God knew they were just going to grow up to be pieces of shit. So, you got to take them all out. Or otherwise, you leave a bad seed in there and it just plants a fucking rotten stem and then everything's fucked up again. Really? Like, that's your God's objective moral standpoint. Because my moral standpoint says there is not a race of people or an ethnicity of people, because we're all one race. It's all just the human race. But there's not an ethnicity of people on this planet ever that's existed that we should just be like, hey man, all of those motherfuckers are terrible. And they just don't belong here because they're going to fuck up everything if we leave them. Like, that's never fucking been the case.
Why? Yeah, there's no race or anything into play with that. Like, what the fuck? Like, treat everybody the fucking same. Oh, equality, equal but separate, this and that and other. How the fuck did you ever come up with that bullshit? Oh, you want her to be equal, let them live their own lives over here in the shitty fucking, this and that, whatever it is. No. Oh, fuck. I'm like, walking down the street or something, you see somebody, different than you are. Oh, yeah, they're different. Maybe they're living a better life than I am. Who knows? But the fact that
That's what makes the world a great place. Is all the different people. If we were all the fucking same, whoa, how boring would that be if we were all the fucking same? I don't want to be the same as you. I definitely don't want you the same as me.
We grew up together for quite a while. Yeah, I don't want to be the same fucking person as you are.
I'm coming back to the scare tactics. We grew up under the same scare tactics. Oh, if you do that, you're gonna go to hell. Okay. I'll use a point in my past. There's something I did when I was a teenager, and my parents didn't agree with it. They told the church about it. They didn't agree with it. So my dad forced me to read the Bible, cover to cover, repeatedly. Not a good idea for him. It did not turn out well for the church. It did not turn out well for my parents. From then on, they couldn't get me to go back to church. I wouldn't do it. The things I read in the Bible made me literally sick to my stomach. And I was reached the age where you start to comprehend what the Bible is telling you, not just what everybody else tells you is in there. And it literally made me sick to my stomach. The church was absolutely disgusting. We had members of KKK in there. We had racists. They would kick black people out of our church. They had horrible marriage and divorce laws. Like, it was absolutely, it was disgusting.
When you mention that, like, growing up, like, in the town we grew up in, like, there wasn't very many, other races, if you want to say it in that term or anything like that. In our church, like, growing up, when you kind of think of memories or dreams in black and white and things like that, of course you're going to see or remember things, in your head. There was just white people in our church. 99%, I swear. Like, and that's what, like, doesn't make sense to me. It's that, why should it be like that? Why should that be the case? Because they believe in a different God like we did when we were growing up. Apparently not. That was, oh, they're a black Jesus, they're a black God. Some other people think God has no color, color. Apparently he does, because, you're all separate, you're all split up, Fuck, man. Like, I gotta say, like, I've never been into a, all-black church, but fuck, they praise it as a complete, yeah, they've got it in their heart, and they got more faith than most people do, and you know what, I respect that more than
Oh, I don't even want to get into that whole can of worms. I don't know, because I know this is going to sound horrible and everything, but same where it comes back to when we had our girls' night, there is no point for a woman to be a Christian. Are you fucking kidding me? There is no point for a black person to be a Christian. If they're reading their book, They got fucking shit twisted because God don't want nothing to do with them.
You know, in the end, when it comes to African Americans and black folks um, that are Christian, there's the majority of black people in the United States are Christians, and they're Christians for a reason. They were heavily indoctrinated with Christianity as slaves,
hmm
and
Yeah.
it it was both used as a tactic to tell them, hey, this is how slaves are supposed to act according to this Bible. It was used as a scare tactic to say, oh, well, you might get away from your master, but then you're going to be disobeying your God, so you're going to go to hell. So,
hmm
hey, you escape if you want to, but God said you're supposed to be a good slave and you're supposed to stay here and do what you're told. And so, during the era of slavery, it wasn't just chains that were put onto these people's ancestors' bodies. They weren't just chained hands and feet. Their minds were chained with Christianity,
hmm
and it stuck. It stuck with their entire generations from that, because even as they got out, the Christian spirituals, Weight in the Water, and so many other of these Christian spirituals were used as a bolstering method and something to give them hope that one day they would move past this, but that they could live through this ordeal, and that they would survive it and they would make it through. And so it's so ingrained in their community that the chains have not fallen off. The chains of their mind are still there. They're still chained down by Christianity. They're still enslaved by Christianity. And there's many black atheists out there that try to make this point all the time. They point to history and they say, look, why would you throw off the shackles of your master and still hold on to his religion that he forced upon your ancestors? Why would you do that? And it all comes back to that fear of, well, what if their God is the real God, and what if there is a hell? And then I've just, I can't go against this because oh, I don't want to go to hell. Nobody wants to go to hell. You know, and so, some of the funniest comedians, and I really love, like, um, uh, oh my goodness, Kevin Hart, love him to death. Cat Williams, I enjoy Cat
hmm
Williams to death, but these are
Oh,
some men whose own religion has taken them to to some weird places.
A
Kevin's
whole
really
other
cool about
level,
it.
man.
Yeah,
it's
Kevin's really cool about it, but Cat Williams, in one of his latest
oh
specials,
man.
he was bad mouthing the shit out of atheists. And
Oh
it's like,
yeah, he
dude,
was.
I love so much of your stuff, but you're sitting here talking some real
That
mountain
ruined it
shit,
for me, man.
dude.
That really
hmm
did. Like he was, man. Cat Williams is like something else. He's funny as fuck, man. Like it's great, but then it gets to like you want to pull religion back into it and this and that, and like, oh no.
Yeah, and then we look at this. Oh man, I can't even think of his stupid ass fucking name right now. Uh, that dumbass that fucked up the Miss America pageant. Um,
Oh,
Oh, what's his fucking name, man? What's this
Steve
stupid motherfucker?
Harvey.
Steve Harvey. Steve
Harvey.
Harvey's
Oh, that guy
dumbass,
is
man.
something. Oh man, he is
Dude,
something else.
lost his motherfucking mind, man. Trying to tell women how they can deal with it, how they can have a good relationship. Motherfucker, what are you on? You're like your fourth, fifth fucking marriage? Shut the fuck
hmm
up, dude. And
Him and
telling
his
women,
big
oh,
ass teeth. Fuck
yeah,
him, man.
if your man don't believe in God, then you don't need to be with him. You better get away from him quick, because that's just going to fucking tear you down, and you can't have a good relationship. Motherfucker, you can't have a good relationship. You're supposed to be some godly
hmm
motherfucker. You can't even hold on to a woman. Why? Because you're fucking out both pants legs behind her fucking back. You're talking shit to her, treating her like she's got to fucking be your fucking subservient bitch that fucking does whatever the fuck
hmm
you tell her to fucking do. Come on, man. You have no fucking
Right.
idea how to deal with women, and you're trying to tell women how they can have a good fucking relationship. Don't, dude. Keep your fucking relationship advice to your fucking self. That's like fucking Josh
I,
Duggar trying to give relationship advice, motherfucker. I don't need to know how to fucking rape my sister. Like,
right?
keep
We're
it
gonna
to
get a
yourself,
new show
dude.
instead of Maury or something. It's gonna be Steve Harvey show, and he's gonna try to give relationship advice. Who's the fuck?
Yeah. But I don't know, and so this brings me sort of to the other topic I wanted to touch on a little bit, which is the idea of like you're supposed to be fearful of God, that God is a wrathful and vengeful God, and that you should both fear and respect God. And I think this whole idea really fucks a lot of people's heads up because they get it in their minds that fear and respect are the same fucking thing. Like I can scare you into fucking respecting me. And
Nope.
the reality is no.
I think, and if my dad ever sees this, whatever. I think he'd realize that's not the case.
Yeah, our dad used that tactic our entire lives. Fear for respect.
Yeah.
And the same goes back to a battered woman staying with the man that beats her. Fear
And that's
for
happened
respect.
way too much in, not necessarily like our level of our generation, but, above, grandparents level.
Mm-hmm.
Both sides, every grandparent, I'm sure every single one. And whether aunt and uncle or aunt and uncle, either way, whatever
Yep.
happened,
The
every
fear,
single
like replaces the love and respect. It's one of those. Oh, I fear them, but I love and respect them. It makes no sense to me.
No. Here's the thing, and I wholeheartedly believe this. I practice it with my children, and my kids respect me. They don't. They're not afraid of me. My kids aren't like, oh my god, dad's home. Like, oh, I did something bad. I'm gonna get my ass beat. My kids, they don't pull that bullshit. They're not like that at all. My kids respect me, and they respect me because they understand me, and they understand what I expect from them and why I expect it. And respect goes hand in hand with understanding. You can't respect someone if you don't understand why they act the way they act, why they do what they do. If I tell you, clean your room, you're like, well, I don't want to. I'm fine with the mess. And then you're like, clean your room or I'm going to beat your little fucking ass. Well, yeah, you're probably going to clean the fucking room because you don't want your little fucking ass beat. But you don't understand why you should clean the room. Like, there's not some respect level where you're going to go in there and clean your room of your own fucking volition because, you're going to wait until the point where your dad goes, didn't I tell you to clean the fucking room? Go clean the fucking room. I'm going to jump in your shit. You made me take my fucking belt off. Well, why should I clean my room, Dad? Because I fucking said so. Get in there and fucking clean it. That's not respect. You can be
No.
afraid of someone and genuinely not respect them. And we see this time and time again from kids who murder their own fucking parents. Like, you might have been afraid of
What was
them.
that in Toledo, Steph? What was that in Toledo, or where was that? There was like like a 6-year-old or something? What was that? Fucking ends up the child didn't remember what had happened, but one of the parents or both the parents were dead or something. I can't remember what it was, but like this tiny little child, like we were going to Arby's or something for breakfast, and you mentioned it. I can't remember
Oh,
what it was.
yeah, there was this news article,
See, that
and there's this little girl, she's wandering down the street trying to find somebody because both her parents were dead. She said, Mommy's really sick, and she won't get up. Mommy was really sick and won't get up. And they were labeling it a murder-suicide, but I honestly think this little kid did it. Because the way they said that she said her story and that she was covered in blood and like she was not crying, she wasn't distraught, she was able to tell her story calmly. and everything. And I honestly think this little 6-year-old killed her parents. Like, it clicked in my brain. No, they're talking to the wrong people about what happened here.
You know,
Like,
and we talk about like spousal abuse all the time, and
mhm,
we don't even discuss the child abuse that can fuck a person up for life,
mhm,
growing into adulthood. That can, you know, one of the greatest cases, and I love to point this out to people, and I love to use it as an example, is Edward Gein. Most people don't know who Ed Gein is, but you know who Norman Bates is, and
uh huh,
Norman Bates is based off Ed Gein, who's a real motherfucker. Ed was systematically, mentally, and physically abused by his mother and her evangelical fucking fundamentalist Christian
That's what it's
bullshit.
based on.
Yes, yes,
What? Alright,
and
now I'm looking this up now. Like,
oh yes, yeah, look it up. Yeah, Ed Gein, man, he was systematically abused by his mother, both mentally and physically. Her fundamentalist Christian bullshit, she fed into him that the outside world was just a sinful, terrible place. He could never find love outside of his mother because every girl out there was a total piece of shit, fuck waste, and they all had fucking diseases, and they were all out to fucking get him. And it fucked his little mind up so bad. Like, this dude ended up killing his fucking brother in the woods. The first fucking murder they couldn't actually prove because they went into the woods during a fucking fire, and apparently the brother fucking died, but it was all suspicious as shit. And then Ed fucking starts digging up fucking dead women out of the fucking cemetery and fucking them, because no living woman was good enough. Like, after his mother died, he fucking lost it, man, and he just went fucking ape shit. He ends up murdering 3 people that they know of for sure. But yeah, that's sort of that's the story that Norman Bates and a couple other of these sort of serial killer ideas have been loosely based around this real motherfucker. And it comes down to a systematic mental and physical abuse of a child from early on in their lives until adulthood, and it can ruin fucking people. You
mhm,
can
makes them snap.
systematically be ruined, and it's all because of these fear tactics and this bullshit that is constantly fucking used, especially in fundamentalist and evangelical
if,
households.
if, if people do see this, I want to, like, because I typed it in wrong. Ed Gein, like, Edgein. That's some crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You got him
wow.
on a tangent now.
Like, I'm sorry, like, Norman Bates, like, everything, that shit fucking, like, the whole idea behind it is, like, boom, like, we think about these, serial killers and things like that, like, oh, it's so fucking fascinating. Yeah, because they think differently than we do. Okay? Well, let's think about that for a second. Us three right here, we think differently than, most majority does, but we put that thought in, okay, how about you do think different? Maybe this isn't the norm. Maybe,
It might take one life-changing event, one small thing that could trigger any 3 of us here to start killing people.
not
All
even,
it can take is one thing to trigger something in our brain that
that's,
would
that's
fuck us up for life.
That's not what I'm, like, setting up for. That's not what I mean. I mean, like, we're thinking, that's not more, like, way out there. More on the thought of, like, we think differently than the majority of, there is a God, there is hell, there is heaven, we think differently. And, that's maybe why us as human beings being serial killers are just so fascinating, is that they think differently. And maybe that's why the majority of the younger generation is sitting there and thinking, maybe they're right. Maybe there is like, maybe there is a hell. there's one in heaven. And that's where the sin came.
Yeah, most of the serial killers are or have been fundamentalist for the fact that you look back at it and it's like they don't have the same value for human life as atheists do. Because atheists, we live for today. We live for our lives because we know there's nothing afterwards. There's nothing that we can keep living on for or whatever. Whereas Christians or Muslims, they have this afterlife. They're like, oh, I can do whatever I want. I have my afterlife I can go to. They don't care. They're living for their death, so they can move on to their more higher being or whatever they want to call it. But
I don't know. I've worked very hard to have an atheist afterlife. I've published 7 books. I've got 2 more on the way. My words will live on beyond my death. I've made a name for myself, and I've worked very fucking hard to do that. And I will continue to work hard until I'm a household fucking name. Yes, I want to be as big as Dawkins, and it's not a matter of fucking ego. It's not a matter of fucking arrogance. It's a matter of I want to exist beyond my fucking death, and the only way as an atheist for me to do that is if I'm so fucking memorable that 1,000 years from now, people are still going, "Hey, what about this dude, man? Remember the shit this motherfucker said? Wow!" Like that's the only way that fucking happens. Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, these motherfuckers live on. They have an afterlife. We're still talking about them. Thousands of years after his fucking death, we're still fucking talking about them.
But you know that's it. That right there. You know, people say, "Oh, you know, the evil ones have an afterlife." You know, some people may think of it that way. You know, us that think logically. For the words that we've said right now, like, I would hope my words live on for the fact that it's something logically said, or how I feel my opinion. Because I can't say everything I've said is logical. But you know, they say the evil ones will live on. You know, you hear about that. Not everybody that's evil will ever be remembered. And then they say the greats will always be remembered. And that's not always the case. Some may steal those ideas, but you know, for what you have done for all of us is more than we could have ever done, ever thought of. And I respect you like a whole bunch because the fact that you know people will not realize like what someone will do to be content just to you know that they're not necessarily just a point of problem, but their whole lifestyle, their everything, you know, because there may not be a tomorrow. We want to live forever, and it's just not possible. You know, and in the Bible, you know, people live for 120 years, 300 years, because apparently fucking time doesn't make sense then. But that's another story. And if we could live for, you know, hundreds of years, when we want to, you know, would that most of that time be wasted because we didn't actually, you know, make use of that time? So we get, who knows, maybe we get 40 years, we get 50 years, we get 100 years. You know, most people, by the time they're 65, 80, you know, hitting 80, I had a guy come in that was 88, he was moving better than I was almost. Man, he was awesome. But did he spend his time on this, you know, this planet that we call our home? Did he spend it, you know, as it should be? Is he going to be remembered? I'll probably remember him because he was a fucking badass. But that's about it. You know, I don't know his name. He doesn't mean a whole lot to me, but he's another guy that was older and kept doing his thing. So I don't know. I'm going off about crazy, but it's just how I feel. Like we want forever, we absolutely do, and not necessarily as a physical being, but we want to be remembered. If there is nothing else left for us beyond this, we want somebody to remember. We absolutely do.
Yeah, you talk about the bad ones, the evil ones living forever, and there's a difference between being famous and being remembered for what you've accomplished and infamy. If you met someone on the street right now with the last name of Hitler, you would just be like, "Whoa, what the fuck, man?" Like it'd be instantaneous. You'd be like, "Oh, are you related to that Hitler? The one that killed all those fucking you're related to that guy?" I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like people in that fucking family have all changed their fucking name. That's what infamy does. Yes, the evil ones may live forever to some extent. They live forever as an example of what not to do.
So I wonder if
And
Trump's family is going to change their name now too.
they already did. Make Donald Trump again. He's a fucking immigrant. He's a fucking third generation immigrant from fucking German fucking immigrants that changed their name because they knew that people weren't going to accept a Trump as their fucking neighbor and their colleague and a businessman. So they became Trumps. He's just another fucking piece of shit, and the fucking line's a piece of shit. I don't worry about Trump's ass as much as I do Clinton's. like, Clinton can actually get shit done. Like that's the horrible fucking part. Like Trump isn't gonna be able to get anything done, but Clinton can, and that's fucking horrific. I'm terrified by that.
She's already been there. She knows firsthand how it goes.
Yep. Yeah, Trump ain't getting shit done, man. Trump may talk about all this bullshit, but let Trump become president, and it's going to be 4 years of absolutely fucking nothing getting done because nobody's going to fucking support his ass.
It's going to be a fucking government shutdown every 2 days.
Yeah, you let Clinton get in there, and it's going to be fucking dangerous. But hey, maybe I'm pandering to the fear tactics. Okay, I don't want anybody afraid and fucking using fear as the deciding factor for their vote. This isn't a political discussion, so we'll get off that. I'm just not a Clinton supporter, so sorry to all the Clinton supporters. I know that y'all are out there, and some of y'all are going to be watching. Sorry,
I don't apologize. I don't apologize at all.
All right, guys, we got about 2 more minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. It's been a great discussion. I've had Stephanie Brown and Mr. Will on here. I'll keep Will's last name to himself to protect the innocent. I don't think anybody's innocent
he is, but
yeah. So as always, even with the special editions of Devils and Gods Country, the opinions and viewpoints expressed here are not necessarily the opinions and viewpoints of all members of Atheist Republic or the Atheist Republic organization. If you have any issues or complaints or criticisms of what's been said here, please direct them to Devils and Gods Country. You can visit our Facebook page. You can post them in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube or even Google+. I will address whatever the fuck you put on there because I keep up with it because I'm a mouthy, opinionated asshole. But don't blame it on the Atheist Republic. Please don't go to our website or our fucking Facebook page and start blasting at the Atheist Republic because of some shit that was said here on this show. We're just kind of sponsored by AR because we work with them, and we are so lucky to be able to use that logo and say, hey, we're members of the Atheist Republic. But if you like what the Atheist Republic does, whether you like what we've done here on the show or what we say here on the show, please visit atheistrepublic.com. Feel free to volunteer in some way, shape, or form. If you want to write, if you want to volunteer your time with the organization, we'd love to have you as part of the organization. If you've got a fucking dollar or two you can spare every month, we would greatly appreciate it. Our organization is a nonprofit organization. We do need a little financial assistance whenever we can get it. But of course, we're not passing around the collection plate. Like you don't need to tithe to us. But if you're able to help, hey, we appreciate it. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I I want to leave everybody with a final thought, as I like to do, and just remind people that fear is not a logical and rational way to deal with other people. If you use fear as a tactic to bring about complacency or capitulation, I can't think of any other big words to use, but if you use fear and fear tactics to force people into your way of thinking and to cajole people into your way of thinking, it's going to backfire on you. It's going to cause people like me to crop up. It's going to cause people like Steph and Will to crop up and to tell you that we're not afraid of you. We're not afraid of your hell. We're not afraid of your God. We're not afraid of any of your imaginary bullshit. And we're certainly not afraid of you. So maybe you should think about a logical and rational way to present your ideas and your case. And maybe, just maybe, you won't continue to lose followers left and right every single day. I'm highly doubtful of that because people are becoming more and more informed. But maybe, you know, uh, as always, if you want something different than what you've been getting, try something different. If you want more of what you've been getting, keep doing what you've been doing. How's that been working out for you? This has been another episode of the Devils in God's Country. We'll see you again tomorrow or next Monday. Shit, not tomorrow. I'm not doing this every fucking day. Yeah, we'll see you guys again in about a week, and same time, same place. Hopefully, Miss Allie will be able to join us again, and we'll have some fun. To anyone who's watching this post airing, next week we are doing our second open mic night. So that means we will have 8 spots available. There's a total of 10 we can have here on the show. So we will have 8 open spots. It's first come, first serve. Me and Allie will be here. Hopefully, Miss Allie will be here. And then the first 8 people who show up, and I will post the link to join the conversation about a half hour before the show. First 8 people to show up, you get to join in, and we'll talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about. You bring up topics, and we'll just we'll have it out. We'll hash it out. We didn't get any responses to the last one. And I think it was because it was last minute. So I'm giving you a week's notice, and I'll be posting on the Facebook page for the Devils in God's Country all throughout the week, making everybody aware that next week will be an open mic night, and we would love to have anybody who watches the show to contribute. Thanks for watching. This has been Devils in God's Country. Have a good night.